Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is a very special one. Like I know I say it every single day, but to me they're special because they're really resonating with, what I'm currently going through in my life and what I'm learning about and developing myself around. So I'm always super excited to share these messages with each and every one of you guys out there. And today's message is no different. It is to become strong enough not to need them, because then you can be together as equals. And what this message is all about is ultimately approval that we seek in those outside sources. So, I want to ask you guys, whose approval do you desperately seek? So every single one of us at some stage in our past, maybe it's in our current set of circumstances, or it will definitely be in the future if you haven't yet experienced this, at some stage we are going to seek the approval of another human being. We're going to desperately seek it. It's going to be on top of our mind. We really want their approval, whether that be, a parent or somebody that we, grew up and looked up to and that we so desperately want their approval. Or maybe it's a love interest. Somebody comes into our lives and they just light us up and we desperately want their approval. Or maybe it's just a teacher along your journey who, you've put them on this pedestal and you think they're so extraordinary. And we tend to get stuck in this trap of building our entire lives around seeking the approval from others. And it's usually because we have this one kind of person at some stage in our life that we really want their approval. So we kind of filter all of our decisions and actions through who we need to be in order to gain that approval, what our perception is. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you resonating with this in terms of, who in your life were you really seeking to gain the approval of? And you got to the point where you're just so desperate, it kind of throws you off. It's kind of, if we look back on our lives, we totally built our lives around, who we thought we needed to be in order to gain this approval, particularly from this person that, we'd placed on this pedestal. And I really want you to think hard about this. Is it somewhere in your past? Have you recognized this experience? Ultimately, it's a lot of the times it's with a parental figure, or is it you're currently experiencing it right now, where you're really seeking the approval from a loved one, from somebody that you really want to become a loved one, whoever that is in your life. I really want you to be honest with yourself about who you're currently or have tried to seek the approval of. And I want to get you thinking about that. And then I want to say to you, but what if I was to tell you that perhaps they were never supposed to give you the approval that you seek? All right, so really think about that. What if they weren't even supposed to? This approval that you've been seeking from that external source, what if they're not meant to give you their approval? And, what if I was to tell you that if they gave you the approval that you currently seek or you have seeked out from them, then you'd never have the opportunity to develop the self-approval that you need to generate within. Maybe, I've seen this happen so many times in terms of our relationships, particularly in our relationships with our family members, where we've built our lives around seeking this approval from this other person, and we get so caught up in it. Why can't they just approve of my life, approve of what I do, approve of who I am? And ultimately, I really want to shake and empower you. I want you to take back that power that you've placed in that external source, and I want you to see it in a different light. What if the greatest gift they could give you is to not give you their approval? In order for you to have to go on that journey to develop the self-approval, the self-love, the validation, the acceptance within you that you might otherwise not have even bothered to generate or go on the journey of generating if they had have given you the approval that you were seeking, that you're currently seeking. And what I want to say to you is that, you cannot experience the depth of connection that you innately desire until you first are able to generate that love, acceptance, and self-approval within yourself. Because ultimately, you've got to stop reaching for something from another that you cannot first generate within yourself. You need to take responsibility for your own approval so that you can get to love to the depths that our souls truly desire as the equals that we are. Because until you can get to a place where you are not seeking the approval, validation, love, acceptance, all of it outside of yourself, and you're not trying to place all the power in another external source to fill a void that only you can truly fulfill, until you get to that place where you are generating that firstly within yourself, you are never going to be in equal relationship with another human being. And once we can generate that self-belief and love and acceptance and validation from within, that is where we get to be in true relationship, experience true depth of connection and love with another human being, because we have leveled up the playing field and now we are equal. We're not putting them on a pedestal. We're not putting ourselves in a pit or vice versa. We are equal, and only from a place of equality can we have true depth of connection. It's only when we are in equilibrium that we can experience love to the full capacity that each and every one of us innately desires. So I'm really hoping that this is resonating with you guys. And lastly, I want to say before I check in with you, is that ultimately the greatest gift that you can give to anybody that you love is going on that journey of building that self-love, that self-acceptance, that self-approval and validation, because otherwise you are blocking the capacity of the depths of connection that you could fully experience with that human being. And sometimes their greatest gift that they can give to you is to not give you the approval that you seek, so that you go ahead and generate that internally so that you can get to a place of equality. And that is why we're here. Love is why we are all here, but you've got to begin with yourself and work your way out. So, hoping that this really resonated with you guys today. I am really, really pumped about this, and I think that it's a powerful message and a powerful shift from this disempowered state when we're trying so deeply and hardly, to gain this approval from another external source. And we're so burnt out, and we're just thinking life would be so much better if they could just approve of who I am and what I do in my life. And ultimately, I want to shift your perception from that, because it's so disempowering. And I know from personal experience that, seeking that approval externally, and how much it blocks the depth of connection that you can experience with that person that you desire to be really in the depths of love with, and ultimately make the shift out of that. So I'm going to check in with you guys and see how you're going. If you haven't already, like I'm always telling you guys each and every day, make sure that you come on over and join us in the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. It's going off in there, beautiful human beings sharing their amazing experiences and journeys. So if you're the kind of person who wants to grow and you also want to contribute to others, then you've got to come and join us in that community, because that is where fulfillment is born, in growth and contribution. And that's what we're all doing for one another in that community. So come on over and join us. And I'm going to check in with you guys. I've got Stephen and Kunbi and Thomas and Tim and Holly. And thanks so much, Stephen. And Jeremy's here, and Rebecca and Alona. And Rebecca, you're loving my accent. Good. I'm glad it's not annoying. And Adeline and Samuel and Anton and Apatea. And good morning to you, and Leo and Regina and Rebecca. Used to be a parent, no one at this point worked to keep it that way. I love that, Rebecca, and thanks for playing along and engaging today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's most of our journeys. It has been, that parental figure. You guys have heard me speak into it, but most of us, it ends up being the father figure, because it tends to be harder to get their approval, to get their unconditional love, which tends to, I know I'm making a massive generalization here, but from our mothers, it tends to be kind of given, and so we don't tend to chase it as much. So often that approval that we seek can be the fatherly figure, it can be also the mother, it can be anybody in our lives, but that's a big generalization about who it generally is for the majority of the population. So I love that, Rebecca. And Robin's here, and Christelle, and Helen, and Jason, and Holly. Approval-seeking behavior leads to unhappiness. Been there, done that, working on letting it go. Absolutely, Holly. Me too. I love that you're on that journey. And Paula and Bassam, and loving that you're agreeing and loving this, Rebecca, and Tanya and Rajesh. Loving that you're finding this great. And Kadek and Charlie. I have to pay attention to Miss Wonderful. Oh, you're so, thank you so much. And I'm loving that you're paying attention. I hope that you're gaining a ton of value from these messages. Thanks for being here, Charlie. I don't mind that title, thank you. And Monica and Jolene and Tingo and Haru and Fan. This takes ages to really realize. Thank you for the constant reinforcement, Vanessa. We all have our own mountains to climb. It's not the summit we conquer, but ourselves. Absolutely. And I love that you keep checking in, Fan. Keep watching these messages. And yeah, that's, some of these messages, they really are just reinforcement. I really believe that, sometimes it's just the repetition that we need because we forget. This stuff we kind of know, but we forget, and we often need reminders because we get caught up in our unconscious patterns of disempowerment, and I'm hoping that today's message has done that for you. Thanks so much, Fan. I appreciate you. And Ram's here. And Tony and Andrew and Anton and Simona and Mahindapal and Yusuf and Saif and Ram, lucky to catch you live. Yes, awesome. I was actually thinking about you, Ram, how you haven't been able to catch me live. So I've done an earlier one today. So I'm grateful that you were able to join live. And Sapreet's here, and Connor and Frank and Aaron and Arjan and Aaron, yes, namaste to you. And Ram, your messages are so inspiring. I'm grateful to hear that, Ram. And Muritesh and Christelle, I'm loving that this is resonating. And Elena, thanks for joining. So guys, that is my message for you guys today. If you really want to experience true depth of connection, and the reason why we are all here is to love fully and be loved fully, then you have to go on the journey of giving your loved ones the greatest gift that you can give them and yourself, which is the self-approval, self-love, and self-acceptance and validation that you have been seeking in those external sources that have been totally disempowering you and blocking you from the reason why we are all here. If you have any last questions or comments or feedback, let me know. Drop the comments below right here, right now, and I'll engage with you. But really, that's my message, and I'm really hoping that it has given you a new perspective shift. Maybe on that journey of letting go the need for the approval from somebody that you might have been trying to seek that approval for all of your life, and recognize that maybe, just maybe, the greatest gift they are currently giving you is their lack of approval, so that it will push you and encourage you to go on the journey to fill the void that only you can truly fulfill of that own self-approval. And that is a beautiful gift if you can only recognize it and see it. All right, guys, those of you who have just joined me, I hope that you catch the recording, get a ton of value from today's message. I am sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. You light up my world, you rock my world. I'm always telling you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you so, so much. I hope you know it. Don't forget it. And thank you so much for engaging today. I love hearing from you. I love you guys sharing your experiences. Make sure you come on over, join the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. And also I've put a link for any of you guys who want to connect with me personally and book in one of my free 15-minute power sessions. So I get to meet you, get to dive into a little piece of your world and see what you're currently challenged with, and see how I could support you, shifting your perspective, breaking through to a place of empowerment, discovering your genius and unleashing your greatness. Sending you all of my love, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.